Hey again, YouTube. Time for a little spring cleaning. I picked up this Victor laptop a while back and didn't know a whole lot about it until I cracked it open. It was in great physical condition for its age, but that's probably because the shell is made from cheap ABS plastic. It hasn't become dry and brittle like a lot of the plastics used in laptop casings from this era, but it is a little sticky and dirty. The laptop has a matte surface, so I want to get in all those little crevices. For that, I like to use a little scratch remover and a little squirt of window cleaner if it gets dried out as I wipe it off. There are two I like for general repairs and cleaning. The Novus scratch remover comes as a set with heavy scratch remover and a cleaner, but you may be able to get the fine scratch remover separately. The Novus cleaner can leave a little bit of a residue if it's not completely wiped off, and the scrubbing particulate may not be as fine as needed for very fine scratches. The other cleaner I like is Megwar's Scratch X 2.0. Normally I just use this one, but I'm almost out. The particulate in this one is much smaller than the Novus Fine Scratch Remover. This solution is also a little bit easier to clean up and work with. With either of these though, a bottle goes a very long way in general cleaning or repairing compact discs. The laptop battery was included with the system, but it was non-functional and the charger was missing. The laptop appears to have some sort of weird proprietary 7 or 8 pin jack. This would be a problem if I wanted to rebuild the 6L nickel metal hydride battery pack, but I don't. Instead, I've just taken it apart to figure out what the laptop needs to see from the battery pack in order to power on. My power went out halfway through recording this, but now that it's clean, let's give it some juice and take a little tour. I was really hoping this thing would have an amber screen, but unfortunately it's monochrome. But it does look surprisingly good for an awful early 1990s LCD. The CPU specs are spoiled on the case, but as you can see, with the post screen here, it has a 386SX CPU running at 20 MHz. And the RAM check tells me it has 640K of base memory installed. That's unfortunate. When I originally picked this up, I removed the soldered on CMOS battery because it had started to bloat. Thankfully this system will actually boot without a battery, but things will need to be reconfigured as soon as it powers on. Even the power switch clears the CMOS here. And there's a little sticker on the bottom that makes configuring things a little bit easier because it tells me that the hard disk is Type 7. It's a 60 megabyte Western Digital 2.5 inch drive, a little bit taller than normal, and states that it's AT and XT compatible. It's a little bit of a pain to remove, so I'm not going to take it out for this video because I might damage the video cable and trying to disassemble things again. Poking around the system, I was a little disappointed though. I'm not really into snooping around for old tax documents or whatever, and unfortunately it seems that this is all that this old laptop is used for. The BIOS features menu has more options than I expected. Of interest to me is the video mode. The system defaults to reverse video, but I prefer white text on a black background. The screen still has really good brightness and contrast for how awful it is, so the text is legible and looks pretty reasonably sharp. Not really any worse than a Kindle or whatever. Out of curiosity, let's see how much RAM this thing is working with after loading up DOS. Yeah, it looks like a gargantuan 577 kilobytes free conventional memory just waiting to be filled. So before poking around a little bit more, let's take a look at the battery and how we get past it. It's made out of 6 nickel metal hydride cells in series, so it provides roughly 7.8 volts. It was protected with a thermistor as well as a temperature fuse and wired into a little strange 7 or 8 pin jack. It's a little hard to tell due to the wear. Anyhow, the jack doesn't matter too much since I'll be bypassing it. The thermistor inside the battery has a resistance of about 9.5 kilo ohm at room temperature, so I'll use a 10K resistor to provide the battery sense voltage to the laptop. I've taken the negative end of the 7.8 DC wall supply and connected it to the negative pole of the battery case. I've taken the positive terminal connected to the second pin and bridged the connection to the third pin to provide the battery sense voltage. The back of the system has a parallel port, a serial port, 5-pin DIN keyboard connector, and a VGA port. On the side next to the brightness and contrast controls is a sneaky little switch that toggles between the external keyboard and the built-in one. The system will throw an error at post if this is switched to external with no keyboard attached. So here's a peek under the hood of what is otherwise a very boring PC. Look at all those fat human serviceable components. So Victor here has had a long day, and it's time for him to get some rest. I'm not really sure what he'll be up to in the future, but I may try to find some terminal software and see if I can get it online with a Wi-Fi bridge. If anyone has some fun suggestions, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to help get these little videos out into the algorithm a bit, hit the like or subscribe button. Thanks for watching.